I'm happy to be sitting here with Glenda Cooper, who is really committed to providing services for people to help them feel better in their lives. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Kari.
I know that I don't know much about what you do, and so I thought it would be neat, and you have something exciting that you wanted to talk about today, but maybe you could share with everybody just what your background is and what you're currently doing right now.
Well, I am a grandmother, and 30 years ago I started a company, and I stayed with the company and eventually sold it, and my biggest passion in the world was to retire. And after I retired, about 3 months later, I realized I was really bored, and I knew that there was some technology in the world that needed to be introduced to the world and brought to the world. And I felt like I was the best candidate to do it. So I started Harmony Wellbeing Clinic here in Dallas, and we introduced vibrational therapy to the community, and that's how I met Fred, was through that. And
it's called, would you say, vibrational therapy?
Correct.
Okay.
So we use devices that the person lies on, and we produce vibration by using sound. And when the person lies on a porous mat or on our vibrational therapy chair called Physio-acoustics, we use sound, inaudible sound, to vibrate the device. And we find that by vibrating the device with the person lying on it, it vibrates their cerebral spinal fluid. And that new dose of cerebral spinal fluid into the brain creates incredible relaxation. And we also find that it also transforms people and many medical conditions to the better. So 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and by this time in 2011 on through the year, I was really beginning to have the tremor, and that's why I really found it necessary to sell my other company, because my health was deteriorating so quickly.
Right.
So I got to the point where the tremor was noticeable, and it was beginning to start happening in the left hand then. So I found these vibrational therapy devices in 2 other cities, and went to those other cities and used that vibrational therapy. And as I was using it over the months, my neurologist would notice that my condition was diminishing.
Wow.
And eventually, in January of 2012, he told me that I was going to have a very mild case. By then, I had opened my own clinic with my own vibrational devices and was using them regularly. And in April of 2012, the doctor told me that I have no sign, after he ran the test twice, that I have no sign of Parkinson's.
Wow.
And to this day, I just am sometimes amazed that I don't have a tremor.
Well, and I just met you, and it would not be anything I would even consider that as a part of your life.
And one of the incredible side effects of it was that I've also lost 5 sizes just effortlessly. So when we get our brain in a relaxed condition, in a relaxed state, like this vibrational therapy does, something happens that we want to treat ourselves better. So eventually I went to Finland, where one of the most famous vibrational products is produced, and I met with the manufacturer there and spent a week with them. And they took me to drug rehabilitation facilities, senior care facilities, assisted living, and several other facilities that use this vibrational product in their therapy for their residents. And I met the people that run these centers, and they're very, very thrilled. And they can see incredible progress in seniors, handicapped people, drug rehabilitation. And
now, what would it do for somebody who's going through drug rehab? What would this chair or bed or whatever the case may be, how would that affect their ability to stay sober?
We're not exactly sure, but their clinical trials are demonstrating the viability of it. Later this year, we'll have a published clinical trial using this vibrational device.
And you're not saying that it's going to cure it, you're just saying that it's going to help the process of them.
What I find of people in my clinic is that they go through the sessions, which we recommend 4 sessions within 3 days. And then they report to me that they feel like being better for themselves. Like we've had several people that have PTSD. And they don't feel so...
People don't know what that is, can you...
Oh, post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Okay.
As you know, the military is really plagued with that, and it's a real serious problem for our military, that so many people are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. So we've had several clients in our clinic that have undergone the sessions in the vibrational therapy who tell me that they sleep better, they feel like treating themselves better, they don't feel like using negative substances in their life, and they just have an overall sense of well-being. Recently, I had a clinical psychologist as a client, and she didn't tell me ahead of time, but after the third session, she told me that she had been traumatized by a violent attack 20 years earlier, and that she just sees it so much differently now. And we think our scientific studies show that apparently by vibrating cerebral spinal fluid, this does something to the white matter in the brain so that it stores memories in a different way than it did before. Okay. So that you don't look at them as traumas, but then it takes them and treats them more like short-term memories and puts them in a file or a space in the brain that isn't such a traumatic spot.
I think the bottom line for the most people is they're interested to know how it works. All they want to know that they just feel better. I think that's,
We're not exactly sure how it works.
Right.
And that's true of a lot of things.
Right.
And we're not exactly sure how the sun comes up every morning, but it does. Right. And so we're not exactly sure how this vibrational therapy works, but we can see the results. And we don't profess that it could treat a common cold or a lot of other conditions.
Or Parkinson's or anything like that.
We can't really profess that, but we're finding that the conditions such as Tourette's, autism, Parkinson's, MS, a lot of other conditions that medicine cannot address, they live on a part of the brain that's right between the hemispheres of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. And there really is no pharmaceutical that can address that part of the brain. So apparently, by vibrating the cerebral spinal fluid, this does something to the cerebral cortex that nothing else can do.
Well, it's very exciting, and I can see that you have a big passion for sharing it with people because you clearly had a wonderful result for yourself.
Right.
My uncle had Parkinson's, and so I know he struggled with that, and he's not with us right now.
Right.
He lived actually a very long and quality life, but struggled with his Parkinson's for many, many years. So
it's a disease of dementia, and it will take your brain away.
Right.
And so we see Parkinson's sufferers come into our clinic and do sessions in the Vibro-acoustic devices, and they'll go to their doctor, and the doctor will see them walking differently. Some of them are in later stages, and so but they'll see a difference in their walk.
So is this something that you would recommend just for the average person, or with somebody who has, what if somebody has a back problem and is sitting on this chair and it's vibrating you all over the place? I mean, is that going to exacerbate the problem?
Well, a lot of world-class athletes, particularly in Europe, most of the professional soccer players in Europe use this for pain alleviation. And we have clinical studies demonstrating the viability of it for pain, diminishing pain, improving circulation. So people with very high blood pressure are seeing tremendous improvement.
Right.
The other day I had a person there in the clinic that's on blood pressure meds, and I took his blood pressure, and it was so high that I thought about rushing him over to a hospital. And he said, no, I take blood pressure meds. So I put him in a 40-minute session on the vibrational device, and we have it in a small room, and he reclines very comfortably, and we play music in there. And it's so comfortable to have that actual sound vibrating the body. It's not mechanical vibration. There are devices on the market that do...
Oh, it's not mechanical?
Correct.
Okay.
There are devices on the market that produce mechanical vibration. This product creates the vibration with sound, and we have some transducers in the device that produce sound that's below our audible level, so it vibrates the device, and the sound waves pass through the body, and we use sinusoidal sound waves, and we think that that's what's causing the improvement in everybody's reduced tension, reduced pain, increased blood circulation.
What kind of music does it play?
Well, we can play anything. We've got a CD player, and you can bring your own music if you like. But I normally play relaxing music that's very quiet. And, of course, we have headphones that have binaural beats in it. And binaural beats have been demonstrated in clinical studies. That's when the producer of the music hides a beat in the music in one ear on the stereo headphones at 1 hertz and puts another beat, slightly different beat of another hertz in the stereo headphone. And they find clinically through using EEGs that the brain then produces a phantom beat, and this induces meditation. And it's pretty clear scientifically that meditation is how the body figures out how to heal itself. So we're not healing the body with this sound. We're just giving the body the opportunity to find its own way to heal itself and align its own cells.
Very interesting. So what are your goals for the future with this product?
Well, thanks for asking. The product that's been manufactured in Finland for about 2 decades. They didn't have a distributor in the United States, and because my background is in distribution, we made an arrangement for my company to be the exclusive national distributor for United States and Canada for the product from Finland. And it's a device that uses sinusoidal sound waves, has its own transducers, is a very high-quality recliner, and it uses sound vibration for helping the body find its way to healing.
Wow.
So my company is the national distributor for the product.
Oh, that's exciting.
We import them from Finland.
And then you say that your background is in distribution. What were you doing before you retired to just enjoy being a grandmother?
So I had a company for 30 years, and when hospitals and high-rise buildings and computer rooms lost their air conditioning, they would call us in one of our branches in Texas or our dealers throughout the country, and we would bring units right into the building. So we had a lot of experience with hospitals, and a lot of experience in the medical arena, because when hospitals lose their air conditioning equipment, it takes several weeks for it to change it out.
Oh, wow.
So it wouldn't be unusual for the health department to be standing there closing the hospital down when we would show up with air conditioning equipment to keep them open. As you can imagine, just relocating patients to another facility can create fatalities.
Oh, absolutely.
So we were there for the emergencies and for the crisis.
Right.
So I got very accustomed to dealing with crisis, and I learned, fortunately, that I have the personality that I can be the one calm in the middle of the crisis.
Right. That's wonderful.
And so I was able to, I had the company for 30 years that I founded in the 80s, and then one of the employees purchased the company.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
That was really neat.
That's nice to pass it on to one of your employees.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that we wanted to talk to you about is that you have had a chance, on a business level to get to know Fred Van Liew.
Yes, I did.
And maybe you could just share a little bit about what you see in him as somebody who's on a board that you are also on, and how you first met. Well,
Fred and I are both very privileged that we were selected to be on a council. One of the most prominent citizens in Dallas has a mastermind council, and he chooses people selectively based on the criteria of their integrity, the success of their business, and their experience. And just by knowing them well, then he appoints us to a council. And we meet about every 6 weeks and spend the day together. And at the council, one person hosts the council and explains his business to us. And then we ask him questions about it, and then he asks for our best advice. And so it's like sitting on a board where you've got fellow CEOs to counsel you, and we have about 350 years of experience in the room. The people that are selected to be on that council are the utmost prominent citizens in town, that in Dallas, in the Dallas area, and that show up in complete and total integrity. And John is very, very selective about the people that he chooses to be on that council. So I'm very honored to be there myself. Plus, it's such an honor to know Fred. And he is a very dynamic individual and has a wealth of experience, decades of experience in his field, and he's really good at it, probably the best in the world.
And that, it's wonderful to hear that on a business level, and then just as a person. And I know that you guys have not known each other for years, but you definitely have had a chance to see him, interact just with people, just in general. What are your feelings about?
He is such. You get comfortable around him as soon as you know him. There wasn't really a time that there was any kind of period that we didn't just totally accept each other. And he's dynamic. He is interested in, passionate about people's health and their well-being. And I find that this kind of sacrifices that you have to make to be in that kind of business is just incredible. And so he's made those sacrifices. He's done the homework, and he's brought his company to a level that it really is a complete and total contribution to the world. And I appreciate him for that.
And I know that you're just going to be starting on one of his products. It's called the Bulldozer Pack.
Right.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, he came in for sessions at my clinic a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about it, and I went, well, my goodness, I'm really healthy, and I've turned my health around through my own modality of the vibroacoustic therapy. And he was telling me how that Bulldozer Pack could really, make it even better. And I have been, people that see me every few weeks or every few months have noticed that through the vibrational therapy, I'm getting younger looking all the time. And my health is just so improving, and so I'm healthy. And I don't think that you have to be sick or in ill health to use his Bulldozer Pack, and he told me to be real careful to follow the instructions. So I haven't had time in just a few days I've had the package. I think I got it about 2 days ago. To sit down and really read the instructions thoroughly. But this weekend, that's what's on my agenda, is to read the instructions thoroughly and start that 30-day program. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I'm excited to hear how you feel after you go through the process.
I will. I'll be glad to tell you.
So, well, I'm thrilled that you took some time to come in and share what you do, and I can see you have a real passion to serve people. So it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Well, thank you, Corey.
Thank you so
I appreciate
much.
you. Thank you very much.